In the Chi Season 7, Episode 8, lines get crossed that can't be uncrossed. Brothers turn into enemies. Love becomes dangerous. And power? It's slipping through the cracks. Reg is done playing nice, Damien is hanging by a thread, and Tiff's choice might just light the whole fuse. This ain't just another episode, this is where peace dies and war officially begins. Reg ain't just thinking about power anymore, he's claiming it. The patience we saw last episode is gone now. It's not sitting around waiting for Nuck to mess up. He's actively preparing to erase him from the game. The way Reg moves now, calculated but loud. He's letting the city know who's coming. And it's not just him, it's a whole new force being built from the ground up. And you could see it in his eyes last time. He's tired of playing the long game. That door conversation with Alicia wasn't a warning, it was a declaration. Reg is officially back and he wants everyone out of his way. But Nuck ain't folding. He knows he's got too much heat from all directions. It's from the streets, from Victor, and now from the police. Detective Toussaint joining hands with Nuck. Feels wild, but when you got a judge holding your kid's future hostage, you do what you gotta do. So now we've got this fragile alliance between law and the streets, both desperate to take Reg down. That kind of desperation makes people sloppy. And Reg, he feeds off that. Tiff finds herself caught dead center between all of it. Still confused. Still grieving Rob, but now being pushed to choose between Nuck and Victor. Both come with risks. Nuck's still in the dirt. Victor's trying to be clean, but he's never been truly out. And Alicia, of course, keeps whispering that Victor's the right one. But who does Tiff trust? Who makes her feel safe? Or is safety not even part of the picture anymore? Her next move could decide who controls the city. Meanwhile, Jake, torn apart. He's got no Bakari, no peace, and a brother who's dragging him deeper into the fire. The worst part? Jake wants to believe he still has a choice, but Reggie already pulled him in. When Jake tried to gather those guys from the mob, last time he wasn't just doing it for Reggie, he was trying to protect him. And that's how it starts. Loyalty gets twisted. Soon you're fighting wars you never signed up for. And Jake splitting from Bakari, that's the one that hurts the most. Those two were solid. Real solid. But loyalty to Reggie forced Jake to cut ties, and now Bakari's floating alone. That's silence between the mitts, not just distance. It's danger. The more alone you are in the Chi, the more likely you get caught up in someone else's fire. And right now there's too much fire coming from every side. That brings us to Damien, who's spiraling faster than anyone can pull him back. Last episode, he dipped into his brother's emergency stash, and something tells me that wasn't the last of it. The pressure's building, and he's drowning in debt he can't cover. And if the wrong person owns that debt like Reg, or someone worse, then Damien's not just in danger. Everyone connected to him is. That includes Emmett, Keisha, and every kid under that roof. Damien's weakness is the kind of thing the streets eat alive. Reg watches him, always watching, and Reg ain't the forgiving type. Damien owes him, he's not going to get off. With a warning, it's going to be blood, or payback, or both. And Emmett, he might be forced to throw hands again, just to save Damien from himself. Let's not forget Alicia, because her silence is always louder than her words. She's not just trying to hit Reg with the law. She's quietly pulling every string she can to get the upper hand. She doesn't trust Shad. She doesn't trust Nuck. And the truth is, she doesn't trust anyone but herself. But in a world like this, trust is currency. She runs out of people to manipulate, her power crumbles, and that breakup with Shad. It might have looked like her trying to clean house, but it's probably just her making room for a new strategy. One thing's for sure, Shad got out just in time. Being tied to Alicia right now is like standing on a bomb that's about to go off. She's got the feds, the gangs, and the politicians all tangled up in her web. And at some point, someone's going to cut that thread. When they do, Alicia's going to be all alone. And knowing how bold she's been, that makes her an easy target. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up having to run for her life or worse. So where do we go from here? Episode 8 is where these setups start turning into consequences. Fuse has been lit. Tiff's decision, Damien's addiction, Toussaint's alliance, Alicia's scheming. And Jake's torn loyalty, every one of those threads is about to snap. And once they do, there's no going back. Damien's problem isn't just gambling, it's that he doesn't know when to stop. He keeps betting like he's invincible, like he can somehow win back all the money he's lost and walk away clean. But that's not how this game works in the Chi. Once you owe the wrong people, it's no longer about money. It becomes about control, power. Ferran Damien's slipping right into their grip. He took his brother's emergency cash last episode, and you could see it in his eyes. He knew he crossed a line. But instead of pulling back, he's digging deeper. You know what makes this worse? Damien's not even a bad guy. He's just broken. He's trying to fill a hole inside him that keeps getting bigger. But that kind of pain? The streets don't care about that. Okay, you show weakness and you get swallowed. There's a strong chance that in episode 8, Damien's going to borrow even more money. Maybe even from someone like Nuck or Raygond. When that happens, he won't just owe money, he'll owe favors. And in a city like this, that's worse than any debt. Reg's been watching him like a hawk. Last time we saw him, Reg didn't say much, but he noticed everything. That's the scary part. Reg don't react fast. He waits, then strikes when it hurts the most. If Damien's debt lands in Reg's lap, you already know he won't hesitate. He'll use that leverage to either make Damien work for him or destroy him as a message to others. Either way, Damien becomes a pawn in a much bigger war. And where's Emmett in all of this? Mad as hell, no doubt. But the thing about Emmett is, when it comes to family, he doesn't walk away. Even if he's disappointed, even if he wants to scream, he'll show up. That's the kind of heart Emmett has. So yeah, he might throw hands. He might rally the crew. Because deep down, he knows if they don't pull Damien back now, not just Damien, they'll lose it's everything they've built together. And Kesha, she's already overwhelmed. She's carrying a baby, raising other people's kids. And now she's watching Emmett get pulled into Damien's mess. That kind of stress could break anyone. You can see the cracks forming in their relationship. That talk about marriage. It wasn't just a romantic moment, it was survival. Kesha's scared. Scared she's doing this alone. Scared Emmett's not stepping up. Okay? And when a woman's got that much pressure on her shoulders, something's going to give. Episode 8 might show us Kesha reaching her breaking point. If Emmett can't step in as the man she needs, not just as a partner, but as a father, a protector, he might lose her. And honestly, that would crush him. Because no matter how much chaos is going on in the streets, Emmett's always seen Kesha as his piece. If he loses her now, he loses his reason to keep fighting. Let's shift to Jake because this is personal. Jake may look calm, but inside, he's boiling. He had to cut off Bakari, someone he trusted just because Reggie said so. That's not loyalty. That's control. Okay? And Jake's smart enough to know that. But he's also trapped. Kay watched his brother get hit. And even though he's mad at him, that fear of losing Reg pulled him back. That's what the streets do, they twist love into fear, into guilt, into obedience. And Jake's right there, stuck in the middle. He tried to prove himself last episode, pulling muscle from the mob for Reg, but came up short. And you know what that means? Reg isn't going to let that slide. Jake will feel like he owes him now, like he's got to go even deeper to earn back respect. But here's the thing, how deep can you go before you can come back? Bakari's hurt. You can feel it. That bond between them wasn't fake. It was real. But in the Chi, real friendships get sacrificed when war is around the corner. And right. Now, there's too much fire between Reg and Nuck, between old beef and new alliances for anyone to stay safe. Bakari might be on his own for now, but that kind of isolation makes him vulnerable. And if one of these Tariq or Nuck decides to use him to hurt Jake, it's going to get ugly fast. Then there's Victor. He's watching from the sidelines, seeing the city unravel. He doesn't want to go back into the mess, but he knows if he doesn't step up, Tiff and Jake could both get swallowed by it. Tiff especially because, right now, she's the one everyone's trying to claim. Nuck wants her loyalty. Victor wants her heart, and Alicia. She wants her obedience, but Tiff's not stupid. She's grieving Rob's still torn up about the life she used to have, but she's also trying to think clearly. She sees the danger. She knows what's at stake, and deep down she knows this ain't a love triangle, let's a power play. Whichever. Man, she sides with Gaines and Edge. And she doesn't want to be used like that. But love clouds logic. And Tiff's next move, who she chooses, could turn this Cold War into a full-on street war. The pressure is everywhere. Between Reg building his crew, Nuck trying to survive, Damien sinking fast. And the cops getting desperate. Episode 8 isn't going to be about small drama. It's going to be about survival. And in the Chi, survival doesn't come cheap. Tensions. In the Chi ain't just heating up there, splitting the city down the middle. You can feel it in every scene, every conversation, every silence. There are no safe zones left. Reg and Nuck are circling each other like wolves, but it's not just their war anymore. It's spreading. It's in every home, every corner, every relationship. Episode 8 is about to show us what happens when the community stops holding together and starts falling apart. Let's start with Reg again. He's not just building a crew, he's building a legacy. The way he moves now is like a man with nothing to lose. And those are the most dangerous kinds of men. Reg has watched the world treat him like a criminal, a threat, a rejectan now. He's about to use that same energy to burn the system down. And honestly, he doesn't care who gets in his way. Nuck, Alicia, even his own people. They cross him, they're done. But here's where things get scary. Reg's got vision. He's not acting reckless for no reason. He's thinking 5 steps ahead. That makes him harder to stop. He's calculating every move, every alliance, every hit. And when people like that start building something in the dark, by the time the light hits, it's already too big to destroy. Now Nuck. He's sweating, and he knows it. From the outside, he looks calm, still moving pieces, still trying to act like he's in control. But the cracks are showing. You can tell he didn't expect Reg to make such a strong comeback. And now, with Tucson on his side, he's hoping the law can do what he can. Shut Reg down before it's too late. But here's the truth. Cops don't move fast unless they've got something solid. And right now, all they've got is desperation. Tucson made a deal with the devil. She's thinking if she helps Nuck, she can bring Reg down, save her son, and walk away clean. But the Chi don't work like that. You get in bed with the streets, you wake up with blood on your hands, and Tucson, she might be a good cop. But good intentions don't protect you when bullets start flying. Then there's Alicia still pulling strings in the background, still playing queen, but her throne is shaking. She's already pushed Shot away, maybe thinking it would protect him more, maybe thinking he wasn't useful anymore. Either way, she's alone now. And being alone in a city like this makes you a target, especially when you're trying to go toe-to-toe with Reg. She wants to win with law, with money, with politics. But Reg doesn't play that game. He plays survival. That makes him dangerous in ways Alicia can't control. Victor's stuck in the middle, watching it all fall apart. He wants peace. He wants love. He wants to move forward. But every time he takes a step toward something good, the past yanks him back. And now, with Reg rising, with Nuck scheming, with Tiff caught in the crossfire, Victor's going to have to decide whether he's still willing to get his hands dirty. Because if he doesn't, someone else will. And speaking of Tiff, her silence is loud right now. You can tell she's thinking hard, playing both sides, trying to figure out what's best for her and her son. She hasn't fully picked a side. Yet that's the part keeping both Nuck and Victor on edge. They both think they've got a shot. But if Tiff makes the wrong choice, if she trusts the wrong man, her life and her son's could flip upside down in an instant. Let's shift back to Emmett and Kesha. On the surface, they're still holding it together. But the deeper you look, the more it's clear they're barely hanging on. Emmett's heart is in the right place, but the pressure is crushing him. Damien, his mom's health, the business, the relationship, it's all too much. And if he slips, even just a little, Kesha's going to be gone. Kesha's already exhausted. Her body, her mind, her spirit, they're all worn out. She needs rest, support, partnership. But what she's getting right now is stress and silence. She's carrying too much. She's been holding back. But sooner or later, she's going to let it all out. Maybe in episode 8, we'll finally hear the words she's been dying to say maybe. Even the threat to walk away if things don't change. And let's not forget about Jada. That quiet heartbreak from last episode still lingers. Finding out her cancer's back. That's the kind of blow that shifts the whole family's gravity. It's like death sitting in the room, unspoken, heavy, and real. Emmett hasn't fully processed it yet. He's trying to stay strong, trying to be the man, but deep down, he's scared. Scared to lose her. Scared to fail. Scared that no matter how hard he works, he can't stop the world from collapsing. That fear is going to shape every decision he makes in episode 8. Whether it's going after Damien, holding Kesha tighter, or breaking down in front of Jada something. Emmett is going to crack. And once it does, we'll see if he rises or falls. So now the table's set. Reg is ready to strike. Nuck's cornered. Alicia's exposed. Tucson's compromised. Tiff's undecided. Jake's torn. Damien's drowning. And Emmett. He's trying to hold a kingdom that's already burning. Episode 8 is going to be a powder keg. One wrong move, one bad choice, one unexpected betrayal and everything explodes. Every character in the Cheese Season 7 is standing at a crossroads now. But episode 8? That's the part where people finally pick a side. No more waiting, no more playing the middle. Loyalties are about to be tested in ways that'll either solidify bonds or break them forever. And in a Chi, picking wrong doesn't just hurt. Feelings it gets people killed. Let's talk about Jake again, because this boy's walking a tightrope with no safety net. Reg is his blood, his brother, and now his general. But Bakari, that was his partner, his read or die. Being forced to cut Barry off left something hollow inside Jake, even if he's too proud to admit it. And you know what? Reg sees that. He knows. Jake's not fully locked in yet. That's why he keeps pushing him harder, making him prove his loyalty. But here's the danger Reg might push too far. If he asks Jake to do something extreme, like hurt Bakari, or go after someone innocent, that might be the line Jake won't cross. And if he hesitates, Reg won't like that. Okay. That hesitation could cost Jake everything, even his life. Because in this war Reg's planning, there's no space for half loyalty. You're in or you're out. No middle ground. Bakari's not gone either. He's not the type to sit in the shadows and let everything burn. If anything, being cut off might make him more dangerous. It's got nothing to lose. And when people feel abandoned, they act reckless. If Bakari makes a move to either win Jake back or take revenge on Reg, things will spiral fast. And it'll hurt worse because it's personal. We're not talking about street beef anymore. We're talking about heartbreak turning into bullets. Now flip over to Damien. The weight he's carrying is starting to show in his face, his voice, his choices. You can see him slipping deeper into a hole he doesn't know how to climb out of. Episode 8 is likely when he starts borrowing from the wrong people or doing dirty work just to keep breathing. He might even start running errands for Reg, thinking he's buying time. But that's the trap. Reg doesn't do favors. You work for him, you belong to him. And if Damien gets caught in that world, Emmett's going to be forced to act. Not out of anger, but out of love. He's not going to let Damien disappear into Reg's system without a fight. But that might be the exact thing Reg is counting on. Pull Emmett in, force him to make a choice. And if Emmett pushes back, boom, now he's an enemy too. This is how wars start in the Chi-Slow emotional, built on family ties and twisted loyalty. That's what makes it so dangerous. Everyone's connected. Everyone's love can be used as a weapon. You think you're protecting someone, and next thing you know, you're on the wrong end of a gun. And let's not forget Tucson. She made her deal with Nuck, thinking she could use him to take down Reg. But what happens if Reg finds out? What happens if her cover slips? Because Reg isn't dumb. It's paranoid, and rightfully so. If he even suspects a cop is in his circle, he'll clean house. No explanations. No mercy. Tucson may be tough, but she's not untouchable. And if she gets exposed, Nuck won't save her. He'll throw her under the bus in a second to protect himself. Which brings us to Alicia. The queen pin, the puppeteer, the mastermind behind so many silent moves. But her confidence might be her downfall. She thinks she has all the power, money, influence, connections. But what she doesn't have, a street army. And in the Chi, when politics fail, muscle takes over. If Reg decides it's time to stop playing and start attacking, Alicia's in real danger. And the worst part? She won't even see it coming. She'll still be planning legal strategies, while someone's already plotting to take her out. Victor's role in all this is shifting too. He's realizing he can't stay neutral anymore. Too many people he cares about are in the fire. Jake, Tiff, even Alicia, they're all standing on unstable ground. If Victor doesn't move soon, the whole world around him will collapse. He's been trying to walk the straight path, but the chi doesn't let you walk clean for long. He might have to pick up a weapon again, whether it's literal or a political, and jump back into the mud to save the people he loves. And Tiff. She's about to make her decision. Episode 8 feels like the moment she finally chooses. Will it be Nook, who offers her the thrill of the streets and a familiar kind of chaos? Or Victor, who represents stability but also comes with old wounds and hard choices? Tiff's been trying to find herself since Rob died, but maybe the truth is she was never allowed to grieve properly. And when someone's still bleeding inside, their choices aren't always clear. But let's be real, no matter who she picks, there will be fallout. Nook doesn't like losing. Victor doesn't like being toyed with. And both men have people who follow them. One wrong look, one angry word. And this love triangle turns into a gang war. Then there's Jada, quiet, hurting, but full of wisdom. She's the emotional anchor of the show, and her cancer diagnosis is more than just a subplot. It's a reminder of what really matters: family, time, forgiveness. Emmett hasn't fully grasped it yet, but her time might be limited. And when that reality finally hits him, it's going to wreck him. He might lash out. He might pull back. Or he might finally rise up and become the man she always believed he could be. That's the thing about Episode A. It's not just pushing stories forward, it's pulling people apart. The bonds we thought were unbreakable are cracking. The silence between friends is growing louder. And every decision now comes with a cost. Nobody's safe. Not Damien. Not Jake. Not Tucson. Not Tiff. And certainly not Reg, no matter how powerful he thinks he is. The chi is shifting. And when the dust settles, someone's going to be gone. Episode 8 is the moment where the chi stops simmering and starts boiling over. The slow tension we've been watching build through the season. It's about to break. No more hiding behind strategies. It's no more pretending things are under control. Everybody's been playing chess, making moves, setting traps, watching their backs, but now it's checkmate time. Some people are going to lose everything. Let's start with Damien, because his situation is getting worse by the minute. You ever watch somebody dig a hole and then keep digging even when they know there's no way out? That's Damien right now. Gambling is more than a habit, it's an addiction that's got teeth. Those teeth are clamping down hard. The debts are stacking up. The lies are growing deeper, and now he's in a position where he either pays up or bleeds out. There's a real possibility that in Episode 8, Damien gets confronted. Not by Emmett, but by whoever owns his debt now. And if it's Reg or one of Reg's guys, it's going to get violent. And if he can't pay, the consequences won't be just for him. People close to him might get hurt as a warning. The chi don't play when it comes to money and power. And Emmett, who's already fighting to keep his family together, might be forced into a corner he didn't ask for again. And what about Emmett? He's carrying so much. Damien's problems, his mother's illness, his relationship with Kesha, his business, his kids. At some point, even the strongest man cracks. Emmett's got a good heart, but he's not superhuman. And in Episode 8, we might finally see him snap. Whether it's yelling at Damien, breaking down in front of Kesha, or lashing out at the world Demide's holding in too much. And when it spills out, it won't be pretty. The sad part is Emmett's trying. You can see it in every scene. He wants to be better. For Kesha, for the kids, for his mom. But life in the chi doesn't care how hard you try. Sometimes it just keeps hitting. And unless Emmett gets some real support soon, he might lose everything he's worked so hard to build. His relationship, his peace, maybe even his hope. Kesha's trying to, but she's tired. Tired of being patient. Tired of carrying emotional weight that no one else seems to see. She's pregnant, overwhelmed, and constantly having to explain why her needs matter. And she's at the point now where talking isn't enough anymore. She needs action, real support. A partner who steps up without being asked. Episode 8 might be her breaking point too. Maybe she threatens to leave. Maybe she shuts down completely. Or maybe she finally says out loud what she's been thinking for weeks. That love isn't enough when everything else feels broken. And if Emmett doesn't step up, she might not wait around for him to figure it out. Meanwhile, Jake is stuck in a nightmare that looks like loyalty but feels like a trap. Reg is pulling him deeper into the game, expecting him to act like a soldier. But Jake's heart isn't built for that. He's seen too much. He knows too much. He still has a conscience, and in the chi that can be a dangerous thing. If Reg orders him to cross a line, something real dark, we might see Jake push back. But if he does, he better watch his back, because Reg ain't playing. His war with Nuck is turning cold streets hot. And now that Tucson is helping Nuck, the stakes are even higher. Reg knows he's being hunted from the law, from the streets, from inside his own circle. And that makes him more dangerous than ever. He's going to start moving faster, hitting harder, cleaning house. People who used to be allies might suddenly find themselves on his hit list if Reg finds out about Tucson and Nuck's partnership. Things could explode quick. He won't wait for a trial or a warrant. He'll take action himself. And Tucson, she might think she's got leverage, but once Reg decides she's a threat, it's over. No badge can save her if he comes knocking. Let's talk about Alicia, too, because for someone who doesn't pull a trigger, she's causing a lot of destruction. Her obsession with power is making her blind. She's still trying to play politics while everyone else is prepping for war. And if she underestimates Reg one more time, it could cost her everything. Her money, her position, maybe even her life, and that breakup with Shad. That wasn't just a romantic decision, which strategic, cold, maybe even cruel. Shad wanted something real, but Alicia, she's thinking 3 moves ahead. And when people stop being useful, she cuts them loose. But here's the thing, Shad might not be done. He might come back with something to say, something to reveal. And if he does, Alicia's empire could start to crumble. Victor's watching all of this play out. And he's running out of time to decide where he stands. If he keeps waiting, keeps hoping things will settle down on their own, he's going to lose the people he cares about. And if Tiff ends up getting hurt in the crossfire between Nuck and Reg, Victor's going to blame himself. Tiff is the wild card. Her decision is coming, and it won't just affect her. Whoever she chooses, Nuck or Victor, is going to feel like they won the game. But the other one is not just going to walk away, especially Nuck. He's been holding on to Tiff like she's his anchor, his last chance at being more than just a street boss. If he loses her, that pain might turn into rage. And rage like that, it burns everything. So what do we have now? Damien's one step from destruction. Emmett's close to breaking. Kesha's losing patience. Jake's trapped. Reg's ready too. Snap. Alicia's vulnerable. Toussaint's exposed. Victor's undecided. And Tiff. She's the fuse. Episode 8 won't be about who wins. It'll be about who survives. Because once all these secrets hit the surface, once the betrayals get revealed, once the wrong choices get made, there's no putting things back together. We've come to the edge. Episode 8 of The Chi is where everything starts falling apart fast, loud, and with consequences no one can escape. Every thread that's been pulled since the start of the season is now snapping. Every quiet lie, every secret alliance, every broken promise, it all crashes down here. And the scariest part? There's no reset button. The choices made in this episode will shape the rest of the season. Maybe even decide who makes it out alive. Let's start with Reg, because he's officially declared war without saying a word. His silence has been louder than gunfire. But now, he's ready to speak in the only language the streets respect: force. He's building his crew fast, pulling in soldiers, cutting off the weak, and stacking up leverage. But what happens when you gather too much power too quickly? You lose control. Reg might think he's got the upper hand, but the more pressure he applies, the more unstable the city becomes, and someone is going to snap. It could be Jake, who's on the verge of turning into someone he's not. Or Barry, who's feeling betrayed and left behind. Or Damien, whose spiraling addiction might drive him to do something desperate. Reg's enemies aren't just outside anymore, they're inside. And episode 8 might show us that the biggest threat to Reg isn't Nuck or Tucson or even Alicia. It might be one of his own. Speaking of Alicia, she's still clinging to her game plan, still pretending she's in control. But in truth, her power is slipping. She's losing people, losing trust. And if she doesn't adjust fast, she'll lose the game. Shad walking away from her wasn't just romantic fallout. Tit was a warning. Her empire is only as strong as her influence. And right now, that influence is fading. Nuck is getting reckless. The pressure is turning him from calculated to desperate. His alliance with Tucson was bold, but it's also fragile. If Reg finds out, or if Tucson loses her nerve, that whole strategy falls apart. And when that happens, Nuck won't go quietly. He's not the type to back down. He'll fight. Dirty, throw blame, maybe even strike first. And if that means blood in the streets, so be it. Tucson, though, she's in deep. Schmidt have thought she could control this alliance, steer it in the right direction. But Reg isn't just a target, he's a storm. And once he turns on her, she's going to find herself with no backup, no protection, and no way out. Episode 8 might be her turning point either. She delivers a win against Reg. Or she becomes the next name on his list. Meanwhile, Tiff is standing. In the middle of all of it, one decision. That's all it takes. Nuck or Victor. Power or peace. Chaos or healing. But maybe the real story is that Tiff doesn't want either. Maybe she's tired of being someone's pawn. Tired of choosing between two flawed men. Maybe episode 8 is when she finally says enough. But if she does that, she'll be putting herself on an island surrounded by enemies. No safety net. And in the Chi, going solo can get you killed. Victor's heart is in the right place, but his time is running out. He's got to step in. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now he sees where this is headed. Reg going nuclear. Nuck getting cornered. Tiff breaking under the weight. If Victor doesn't act, he might lose them all. But if he does, he risks dragging himself back into the very mess he's been trying to escape for good. Then there's Emmett. His world is spinning out. Kesha's pulling away. Damien's in danger. Jada's health is hanging by a thread. And in the middle of all that, Emmett's still trying to be the glue. But glue cracks under heat. Episode 8 could show us the moment Emmett finally breaks not out of weakness, but out of love, frustration, exhaustion. Maybe it's a breakdown. Maybe it's a bold move. Whatever it is, it's coming. Kesha's not heartless, but she's human. She needs more than promises. She needs peace. And she's realizing that love doesn't always equal stability. Her scene in episode 8 could be powerful, a woman finally demanding more from the man she's building a future with. And if Emmett doesn't answer that call, she might walk. Jada's condition quietly sitting in the background could be the thread that unites or destroys them. If her health suddenly declines, that could be the push Emmett needs to get serious, or the pain that sends him spiraling. Either way, her journey reminds us that the biggest battles aren't always fought in the streets. And Damien, he's the ticking time bomb. Every bet he places, every lie he tells, brings him closer to that one moment where everything explodes. He's scared. Yes, but he's also dangerous. Because scared people make reckless choices. And in the Chi, that's all it takes to ruin a family. So what's really waiting for us in episode 8? Maybe a betrayal that no one sees coming. Maybe a gunshot that changes everything. Maybe a tearful goodbye, a cold revenge, a shocking reveal. All we know is nobody's safe anymore. The season's been slowly pushing every character toward the edge. And now they're standing there. All of them. Some will jump, some will fall, a few might fly, okay? But nothing will ever be the same. This is the chi, where love gets tested, loyalty gets twisted, and survival comes at a cost. Buckle up, Episode 8 is about to shake the city to its core.